Welcome back. We are on Module 8, where we're going to be talking about measures of center. When we were in the previous module, we talked about mean and median, but we didn't necessarily define what those are. I feel like you're all familiar with what the mean is. You might not have heard it referred to as the mean, but you've heard of average. As students, typically students are concerned with what their average is. What's my grade in the class? And when you're trying to calculate your average for, let's say, tests, you take all of the tests that you've had and divide it by however many tests you are to find the average on that test. Canvas does a lot of that for you, but you have a general understanding of what that means. The mean is the average of a data set. And we use the symbol X bar to represent the mean of the sample. Later, when we're talking about populations, we will use the symbol mu, MU, for the population mean. That comes later. Right now, just remember that X bar represents the sample average. We calculate that by taking the sum of all of the data observations and divide it by however many data observations there are. Using mathematical notation, we take sigma x divided by n. What's that mean? Sigma represents sum. It means you add. X is every single value in the data set, and n represents however many there are in the data set. So you add all the values and divide by the number of values there are. For instance, if I had the scores 70, 72, 74, 71, and 88. I wanted to find the average of that. I would add 70, 72, 74, 71, 88, and I would divide that by 5 because there were 5 numbers there. When you are doing this on a calculator, you've got to make sure that you either add them all first and get a total and then divide by the sample size, or you need to use parentheses. Otherwise, your calculator is going to do the division of like the last it would do. If I, in my calculator, did 70 plus 72 plus 74 plus 71 plus 88 divided by 5, my calculator is going to divide 88 by 5 first and then add all of those other numbers. The order of operations is really important. So either get your sum first or use parentheses. The mean is called a balancing point because it balances the distances of each data point from the mean. The distances meaning my average is 5, 1 is 4 away from 5, 9 is 4 away from 5. So 1 and 9 would be balanced on either side of a mean that is 5. Choose any 4 numbers, whatever you want. And we're going to figure out the mean, and then we're also going to find the distances, and we're going to make sure that it's balanced. I'm going to use single digit numbers just so I can do the math in my head without having to worry about whatever, but you can choose any 4 numbers you want. I'm going to choose 1, I'm going to choose 4, I'm going to choose 7, and I'm going to choose 8. Okay. First, determine the mean. Well, the mean is found by taking 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 divided by 4, because there are 4 numbers there. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12, and 12 plus 8 is 20. That's the same thing as 20 divided by 4, which is 5. So the average of these numbers is 5. If I drew a number line, and I had each of these data points represented, and the mean represented by some balancing object here, those distances are balanced. Even though 7 and 8 are kind of close together and 1 and 4 are far apart, let's figure out what are the distances. Well, from 5, 1 is 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4 away on the left-hand side. What about 4? 4 is only 1 away on the left-hand side. Okay, what about 7? 7 is 2 away to the right. And then 8 is 3 away to the right. So on the left-hand side, we have 4 below and 1 below, which is 5 below total. And on the right-hand side, we have 2 above and 3 above, which is 5 above. So we have distance of 5 below and distance of 5 above. Those are balanced. It's equal 5 and 5. Looking at the learn by doing on page 38, Jose wants to have an average of an 80 for his 4 exams. He has an exam that is scored from 0 to 100, and he's got scores for his first 3 exams. So what does he need to earn on that 4th exam in order to keep an average of 80? Let's think about how this is written. So he first has taken an exam that was worth 87%, 72%, and 85%, but he hasn't taken his 4th exam yet. So he needs to figure out what score he needs to get on that 4th exam to get an average of 80. Well, an average of 80 is found by taking all of the exam scores added up and dividing by 4 because he's got 4 exams that he's talking about. Now, I need to find out what X is. You could pick different values and try and get what the actual value is. Or you can do some math to solve this equation. The first thing that I can do is get rid of this division by 4 so that I can figure out what they need to add up to. So if I had 4 80s, that would be 320. So 87 plus 72 plus 85 plus some test equals 320. So what number is going to add up to help me get to 320? Well, how much do I already have accounted for here by the 87, the 72, and the 85? 87 plus 72 plus 85 is 244. So I already have 244 accounted for. How much more do I need to get to 320? If I took away that 244 that I already have accounted for, I get that my test score needs to be 76. So Jose needs to earn a 76 in order to keep his average of an 80. And it's likely because he's already scored an 87 and an 85, which is above 80, but he did have that 172 below, which was below the average. Here's another learn by doing. We are asked to determine the mean of the dot plot. So the mean of the dot plot is listed where they tell you the counts on the left-hand side. And we don't want to just try and figure out what the mean is by looking at it. We want to actually calculate the mean. And we can do this because we know the values that we're given. This is the value of 0. That's the value of 1. This is the value of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. But we have more 3s and we have more 6s. So what do we have total? We have 0 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 9 divided by, well, how many points is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots. So divided by 10 dots. So I need to add first 0 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 9. That gets 40 for a sum divided by 10, or 4. So the average of the dot plot is 4 right here. That is the mean, the average. Now we have the median. That's another measure of center. So when we were talking about describing a distribution in the last module, when we came up with the C for suck, the C was center. And if your distribution is symmetric, you can use the mean. If your distribution is skewed, you need to use the median. Or what is balanced on the median is the data. The data is split into two equal groups. So there's an equal number of numbers below the median and an equal number of numbers above the median. I'm going to pause here, and the next video we will continue our exploration into the median.